in. Welcome in. Hold on a second. Okay. Welcome in to Soul Awakening Podcast, Quantum Age of Awakening and the Consciousness in Science. We're merging science and the universal power of spirituality. It's not separate. It's just given to you in just a tiny bit of a different way to see it, to feel it, to be it, to become it. Good morning, my friend. Right? I'm so happy you're here today because over the next 6 weeks, we are going to explore truly life-changing information. It was for me. It still is for me. As I'm teaching, I'm still learning. The connection between quantum energy, spirituality, and our growth as body, mind, and soul beings. Episode 1 is about the introduction of quantum energy and spirituality. I found out that these merge, that they're not two separate opposites of poles, not two separate beliefs. They appear that way because of perception. In this episode, we will start our journey by exploring what it means to be energetic beings, how quantum energy connects with consciousness, and conscious connects with quantum energy, and how awareness is part of how we grow and how we expand and how we evolve. And before we dive deep, I want you to just relax and listen as if you were having a conversation, as if you were sitting and we were having a conversation back and forth. No wrong way, no right way, just a way, a moment, a perception. The divine seeing itself through you and through me, with infinite possibilities flowing all around us. So, take a breath in. Let what resonate, and what doesn't, just let it flow. Okay. You don't have to understand everything. You don't have to, hold on just a second. There we go. You don't have to believe anything you hear. Just bring you, start where, and take in why this way. And things are, from there, things grow. Things grow from there. That's part of quantum energy. It's when you observe it, it grows. When you observe it, the moment you observe it, it changes because your perception of how you're observing it will change. It'll shift just a little bit, or it'll shift a lot of it. So you don't have to understand it all right now. My goal is to help you see how science and spirituality are not at opposite ends of an extreme, but they are merged energy, just being perceived differently. They're not separate worlds. They're both describing the same reality, just in different ways. So let's get started. Let's start with what quantum means. And remember, we're giving this definition or getting this definition based on man's ability to vibrate words, to turn energy into words. Okay? The word quantum comes from physics. It refers to the smallest pieces of energy that make up everything around us. Your chair you sit in, the table you eat at, the car you drive, the makeup you put on, the dress shirt you put on, the jeans you wear. Everything is made up of pieces of energy. The thoughts you have, or the thoughts that are moving through that you don't take hold of yet. Everything in existence, even what seems solid, is energy. It vibrates. The table that you have and the chair that you have, it's energy and it's vibrating. You know why you can know that? It's because your chair and your table will disintegrate. They will change and transform. They will change and transform. And I do understand it looks like Instagram dropped the live. I'm not sure why, but there's nothing I can do about it right now. So I'll have to keep going. So let's keep going. Exactly. For a lot of people, they don't know it to be true because they have been taught to be in opposition of. Either you believe in science or either you believe in spirituality, either you believe in science or either you believe in religion. Okay? Okay. So we know that energy exists in everything. And remember from the last couple of episodes of our yin and our yang, energy is always vibrating. Energy is always taking on new form, even when form is disintegrating. Like that chair is getting old and rickety is what we might call it. It's not balanced on all four legs, or it's all scratched up, or we can't refine it or refurbish it because it's too old. It's just vibrating and going back to the energy that it was before. Okay? So one of the first discoveries in quantum physics, and I'm going to read this part for you, was that light acts like both a wave and a particle. Now, I remember this from my class, my science class. Energy acts, and when I was taking science, I believe it was either energy was a particle or a wave. It wasn't believed that it could be both. So science has evolved and it found out more information. So I'm going to read that again. One of the first big discoveries in quantum physics was that light acts as both a wave and a particle at the same time. That means energy can behave in more than one way. That's why you can have limited possibility and infinite possibility, and it can be available to you at the same time, because energy is taking on the act of whatever you want it to be. Okay? So let's keep going. I'm going to read that again. That means energy can behave in more than one way depending on how we look at it, depending on our perception. This is huge because it tells us that reality, here comes the clincher that just pulled me in. That tells you that reality is not fixed, it's flexible, it's malleable. You can create with it. You can take it like putty and make it into whatever you want. Energy is alive, and it's connected to our OUR, our observation. And our observation can change energy into whatever we want. That's right. Your old patterns are disintegrating because they're energy. The energy is the form of whatever your pattern or story became. You created it. And sometimes your parents, your professors, the governments, the society, mommy and daddy before you, if they've created something that you've just taken on as a child or even a young teen, and you took it for verbatim as to be a truth, that's what the energy was for you. And then once you begin observing the energy, you give it opportunity to rise up, to change, because you start observing it. You start taking on discernment about it. Sometimes, and most people go into judgment mode and put themselves right back into victim category. And guess what? That's free will too. Okay? Energy, quantum energy, you are quantum energy. And when you become aware of your energy, the energy within, and how it's projecting outward, and you're sculpting your outward look on your world, it changes. It really changes the whole projector and the quantifying scape of what you're seeing from within to what you see on the outside. Blew me away. Just blew me away. Okay? So there's a thing that scientists call the uncertainty principle. It says that we cannot know exactly where something is and how fast it's moving, or how to control it at the same time. So in simple terms, the more we try to measure or control something, it changes. So I'm gonna say that again. The uncertainty principle says that we cannot exactly know where something is or how fast it's moving at the same time. Doesn't that sound like life? It sounds like life to me. Life shows up at your doorstep and says, "Hi, I'm here," with one way of you perceiving it. Maybe you don't do anything about it. You've created it though, but you haven't done anything about it, and it comes back around. That which you resist, maybe you've been resisting it, will persist, and it'll come back around. But now you're observing it again with a different perception. And that life moment that showed up before has a new addition to it or something deleted from it. It changes, right? When we try to control everything, it shifts. But when we observe it with awareness, we begin to see the new possibilities within it. When we just observe it. That's sort of kind of like the book that I'm reading on my YouTube on Thursdays. And by the way, I haven't read, you didn't miss anything last Thursday. I did not do a book reading on YouTube. Okay. I won't be doing one this Thursday because that's a holiday. I'm giving thanks and I'm hanging out with my family. I'm hanging out with my peeps. But it's called The Surrender Experiment. And it's by Michael A. Singer. And long story short, he had a moment of pure silence where his higher being was giving him access to viewing through what his egoic self was saying about life and all the chatter. And all he wanted to do was have his small self, that energy within him, just shut up for a while. And when the small him, the little I, saw that it was being observed, the energy changed and he felt peace. So his whole book that he was taking notes about and everything, he started to observe life and what life was bringing to him. And he decided he was going to flow with life. He was not going to let the smaller I control everything. His book never said he didn't hit, difficult marks. He just started to observe it. And this is where energy is saying, observe me. I'm bringing you something. If you observe it and discern it, then you get to tell me where you want to go with it. And science is saying you can't acknowledge it or see it and question the movement at the same time, where it's going to end up. That's equates to a person who has an intention and they want the end result first. They don't want to go through the journey. They just want to know what the end result will be. I want to be happy. Right? But you're going to go through all these different energy levels. And if you're only focused on the end result, you're going to miss out on the journey. You're going to miss out on that energy creating your journey because you're focused on the future, not the now. Quantum energy says you can't be focused on that and the end result at the same time. Energy is going to create from either one, because more or less you're going to be focused in one more than the other. And energy is going to take hold of what you vibrate the most. Scientists figured that out. Spirituality figured that out too. That which you resist will persist. And the more you resist it, the more it persists, the more it grows. Okay. So here we go. But when we observe with awareness, we begin to see new possibilities. The uncertain principle or the uncertainty principle is a deep dive that when I went through it, I went, whoa. I had to stop my roll and go, whoa, right? Because the principle comes from quantum physics. And this is one way of looking at it. There are many, many ways of looking at it, but scientists looked at it, or a scientist called Werner, Werner, Heisenberg in 1920. He discovered that the smallest scale, the smallest particle, like an electron, that there's a fundamental limit to how precisely we can know the certain pairs of property at the same time. You can know it moves, but you don't know exactly where it's going to move to, but you know it's moving. Right? The most common discussed pairs of particles or electrons are called position, where the particle is, and it's called momentum, how fast it's moving and in what direction. Exactly. I woke up this morning and said, I want to be a happy person. I want to step into that version of myself that's going to be happy, unconditionally happy. But that's a big Grand Canyon, so to speak. The universe says, okay, I got you. So that means that you have to be aware when you're looking at life, how you're going to create the happy moments. The happy moments can be verbally, the feeling, the emotion. Happiness can take you through something that allows you to know that you're not happy, so that you can get to a place that you are happy. Right? This principle, right, of position and momentum says that more precisely, one, say that exact position. You know the position. The less precisely is you know the other, the speed and the momentum, but you don't know which one is going to move where. This isn't because of the instruments that were being used to follow it, so that they could take notes. It is an inherent feature of the universe. Science cannot predict the universe, nor can spirituality. It just is. It's built into the very nature of reality, the very nature of the universe at the quantum level. Energy has never been created, nor can it be destroyed, but it can transfer, transform, or alchemize, and it can become more. Why does this matter in life? You might ask that. Why does this matter in life? Trying to control something too tightly makes a shift. That's why it matters. It's a perfect metaphor from quantum physics being applied to life. Perfect. In an unperfect vibrational dimension. The quantum energy never stops. No matter how much duality we have, no matter the polarities, quantum energy is always creating more of itself. Scientists see it. They can only explain it to you. I'm getting excited. I got to slow my roll. They can only explain it to you based on their perception and their perception of how they've learned it. So they're going to give you the textbook version, or if they're writing a textbook, putting it in there and saying, this is what we found. These are the variables that we found. Spirituality, duality, religiosity are going to explain it to you a different way as well. But you get to the infinite, not finite, but the infinite of the universal law that it is the law of one. Science and religiosity and spirituality are one. They're just being seen with a different awareness perception. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Observation changes what we observe. In quantum mechanics, observing a particle actually affects its behavior. On a life level, when we focus too much on controlling something, a situation, a circumstance, a person, we often change it in the way we intend. Sometimes we act, or sometimes the act of control changes or creates stress or the unintended consequence. Sometimes you push people away when you're so focused on trying to get them to stay. I want them to love me. And sometimes too much of that pushes the situation where they want to turn and run. Right? The second one is flow versus force. We know, we've heard this before. Right? The principle reminds us that some things are inherently unpredictable. But we want to go to the tarot cards, and we want to go to the oracle cards, and we want to know. Before we have that adventure, we want to know what the end result is going to be. Just like reading the last chapter first. Well, why do you have to read the book then? If you've already read the last chapter. Right? Okay. Trying to nail down every detail of life like you would measure a rock. Okay. I'm reading this part because this blew me away. Trying to nail down every detail of life like you were measuring a rock can be impossible. Instead, observe with awareness. Remember, from my book reading on my Instagram, I read Rhonda Byrne, her book, which the main storyline is you are awareness, and awareness is aware. You are the divine, and divine is aware of itself. Now you become linked in. You woke up. For me, I can't go back to sleep. There's no way that I can cover this up and pretend that all this information from the time I've had my last, what I would call an awakening, and I'm still having them, I can't close my eyes. I can't go back to sleep. I can't pretend that I'm not getting all these juicy nuggets. But some people can. And if they want to, let them. That's a free will. Okay? Paying attention without obsessively controlling allows you to notice possibilities and patterns that you might not have otherwise observed. Number 3, opportunities emerge through awareness. When we step back and go, whoa, Why did that happen? Why did that happen right now at this particular time? What am I supposed to learn? You have changed it. You have changed what you just looked at. You've opened up an opportunity to address it in a different way. Life doesn't always follow a straight line. And trying to pin it down too tightly can block your growth as well. Awareness allows flexibility. We all know that. You've heard it from every caveat, from science to religiosity to just plain old living life to spirituality. You've heard it, right? Nothing flows in a straight line. You're always going to have something that comes in there and bumps up against you, and as you may call it, triggers you. I call it activates you to the next movement, to the next growth process. Does it feel good? Probably not. Probably not all the time. Does it shift you? Yeah. Exactly. Once you see, you can't unsee. But some people, if they pretend enough, the universe gives them what they want. That gives them opportunity to not see something because they're looking in a different direction, right? Awareness allows for flexibility, creativity, and adaptation. That's called growth and expansion. It's kind of like a dancer moving with the music instead of forcing the steps. And I will share with this to you. Me, I don't do dancing like line dancing or anything dancing with steps that you have to follow. Not my forte because it's forced. But play some music that I like. I get out on the dance floor. I don't have to worry about having a partner, and I just go with the flow. And as soon as the music changes again, I'm in a different flow. I'm moving to the beat of my own drummer. Some people, I hear the drums, and where some people hear different various music and drop beats, I hear guitars and I hear drums. I hear castanets if there's castanets in it. I just go with the flow. And that I'm at my best there for me. And then there are some that have to go step by step. They have to learn the steps. And they have to drive themselves nutty if they miss a step. I did that and I didn't like it. And I said, it's not going to flow for me. That's not where I want to go. Right? So let's talk practical life reflection. This is wherever you flow in your life. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Think about your life where you're trying to control the outcome completely. And all science is saying you can't control it. You can't have that particle. You can't look at that particle and have that particle and worry about where that particle is going or how fast it's going. All you can do is look at it, observe it, and see where you want to take it. And then let life take you there. Let that particle move. Because now you've observed it. You made it aware of you. Free flow dancing is so amazing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not putting anyone down who can do the rumba or do the salsa or any of those dances or do line dances or the line dances that we do when we're at home, uh, dancing with the family and different things. It's all good. But I'm just finding that I flow better when I don't have to worry about a misstep. I'm just flowing. Okay. Practical life in reflection. In reflection, looking back on something, reflecting on it, not judgment. Practical life in reflection. Think about a situation in your life where you've tried to control the outcome. Instead of reading the book, you read the end result. You read the last chapter and how that chapter goes. Maybe it's been a project or a relationship or a mood. For me, a lot of the time it's my mood, right? What happened? You get to ask yourself what happened, not why me, but what happened. Often trying to micromanage every detail creates a tension or an unexpected result. I've worked for people who, for certain management in my jobs, and sometimes you get a new supervisor, and I went from one supervisor that wasn't micromanaging anything. She took all of our input. We all felt like we were giving into the growth and the process of the department and of the company. And then that person leaves, and another person comes in that has to micromanage. Micromanaging and controlling people can be very, very tedious. But imagine if you're that micromanaged person that now gets to get I got to slow down because this is exciting stuff, that you get to approach it with awareness instead of, I'm going to make you do this. I got to make sure everyone is on the same page. And sometimes everybody is, all the ducks aren't in a row. What if you notice what's happening without forcing it? What if you sit back and just watch it? Which allows you to respond instead of react. What if you remain open to possibilities rather to a fixed point in time, that it has to be this, it has to end up this, it has to end up this way, it has to end up this way because this is my way. I'm not telling you to go pull yourself apart to figure this. This is just an example. Okay. But if you're aware, not forcing it, like that song, relax, let go, don't force it, right? Relax and let it flow. You can't force something that just does not fit. So relax, let it go. And then take a step back and view it and say, what could I do now? That's all energy is saying. I'm showing up. This is the way I'm showing up. Energy is saying, you can watch me show up, but if you're focused on that energy over there at the end of everything, you're not in that now moment with the energy that can become something different. Right? But what if you are aware? Then life becomes more fluid. It's not you having to struggle or force it to flow. You're not controlling it. Every variable is an opportunity to observe. Just like when you observe your egoic self, it shuts up for a moment. It says, "Ooh, she's looking at me." When you say, "I'm aware," awareness says, "What are you aware of?" And you say, "I'm aware that this is a trainable moment for my ego. I can show my ego a different way to look at this." And awareness leans in and says, "Let it be so." Now, it doesn't mean your little I or your smaller self isn't going to struggle with that a minute, but you've already put the intention out there that you're aware that this is going to be a teachable moment for you. And that's energy saying, let's go. Right? So, in short, the uncertainty principle in life teaches you that control is limited, but conscious awareness is unlimited and powerful. Did you hear that? Conscious awareness is unlimited and it's powerful. It's less about making life exactly what you want and more about engaging with your now moment, engaging with your growth, engaging with your learning, engaging with your harmony, engaging with your evolution. And then wash, rinse, repeat. Quantum physics also teaches us that our act of observing is simply paying attention has an effect on what happens. You've heard of the butterfly effect, right? That what you do here changes something somewhere in a future. That's energy. Simply by paying attention will affect what's happening, or change will start to occur. Whether it's good or bad, you can be observing and observing negatively, and it's going to affect the outcome. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. That doesn't mean, for scientists, they don't believe that that means that it's magical. They don't believe that you magically change or create with your thoughts. But it does mean that consciousness plays a role in how things unfold. Scientists have written papers on that they believe that consciousness plays a role in how things unfold, i.e., the pills that they put, sugar pills, and they give it to people for ailments, and then all of a sudden the person is healed or feels better because their consciousness, they've said, the doctor says, here, take this, you'll feel better, you won't have any aches and pains. And because they believe so much, consciously believe so much in that pill, there they are. And in the Bible, my mother shared with me a testimony of someone that Joshua supposedly healed. All right, I say supposedly because Joshua said, I didn't heal you. I was there. I held space for you, but Within you, you healed you. Go home, tell no one. Why did why I and I'm paraphrasing. Go find the chapter and verse. I think Matthew. I think it's also in Luke. It's recounting that moment, right? Was that Joshua told him to go home, tell no one. Why? Because they would try to change your mind, and your mind was already set on you being healed. That's energy. That's quantum energy having a purpose, making a vital a vital situation or circumstance happen for the highest and greatest good of that person. And Yeshua said, "Go hold on to that. You changed. You created that, right?" So science is catching up with what religiosity, some of religiosity, are teaching or preaching about, and spirituality is sharing. It's not called magic; it's called energy. And in spirituality, awareness has always been aware or seen as the bridge between your inner self and your outer world. So when people say everything is energy, it's not just spiritual, it is scientific truth as well. Science believes that energy is everything. They're catching up. Science is not separate from spirituality. It's wholeness. It's awareness, it's wholeness. It's just being viewed through a different perception. And once you let go of that perception and just flow, then you find out where all the little dots fit. And the map gets bigger. You're not just a body. You're energy in motion. You are not just a body. You are energy in motion. You think, you feel, you create and the more you create with the energy, the larger your field gets. The larger your field gets, the more life you have. And when you change your vibration through your thought, through your feelings, through your emotions, through your intentions, you interact differently with the world around you. When you're aware of that energy, you change it. When you're aware about living in your now and not forced to think about the outcome in the future, you're changing and creating what the infinite future can be for you in the next now. Infinite future, I love the way the divine gave that to me, is your next now moment. So let's pause, reflect on that. Forcing something does not mean it will happen the way you want. Exactly. Sometimes it'll happen in unexpected ways, and sometimes you still might not want it. But most times, you force something, and it did not work exactly the way I planned. You have to learn to bend and sway so that the universe flows. Trees bend and sway when they have storms. That's why they ride it out. Trees also know when to give when floods happen. They go with the flow of the water. Let's pause a moment and reflect. Ask yourself, if energy is everything and everything is energy, how am I directing my energy today? Ask yourself, do my thoughts lift my vibration or lower it? Ask yourself, what happens when I bring awareness to what I'm feeling right now? What happens to you? Soul Awakening with Sandra can't answer that for you. Only you can. As we move through this series, I want you to keep that question or those set of questions close to you. Do my thoughts lift my vibration or lower it? Make yourself responsible for it. Ask yourself, if everything is energy and energy is everything, how am I directing my energy today in this now moment? What happens when I bring awareness to how I'm feeling right now? I want you to keep those questions close, because the more you understand about energy and how consciousness works together, the more you can create balance. We talked about that in the last yin and yang, creating balance for your healing, for just purpose of living life, for growth, expansion, for being aware about how you interact with energy and situations, circumstances, conversations, and other people. How about you being aware of your story now, your now story, not your future story? Next week, we'll explore the consciousness, the awareness within you, how to connect directly to the quantum field, and the observer effect. We'll learn how your attention and presence shapes your experiences in both the way of science, the way of spirituality, and how you can become the threefold being that you are: soul, body, and mind. If you like to read more about what I have shared with you today, I recommend The Dancing Wu Lee Masters by Gary Zukav, Quantum by Einstein, Burr, and Great Debate, right? And I'm sorry, and The Great Debate About Nature of Reality. And that's by Manjit, Manjit Kumar. So Dancing Wu, Wuli Masters by Gary Zukav. Okay. I thank you for joining me for this episode 1. I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time as we continue this journey into the heart of energy and consciousness, scientific and spirituality merge as wholeness, because that's what it came from. We were just allowed to separate it. Now we're coming home to knowing that we're conscious, and we're consciousness and we're aware of wholeness, of the one true creator that is the light and the dark, is the no thing and the all thing. So episode 2, I'm excited. I wish I could do episode 2 now. Episode 2 is consciousness and the observer effect, right? If you came in at the end of this, it will be in replay on my YouTube and in my Spotify. And it is Soul Awakening with Sandra. Check it out there. Like, subscribe, and share. Share me everywhere. One love. Peace.
(2023) Mother Gaia, third dimensional planet, ascending. Thank you from the Sacred Light Broadcast Network and Sacred Light Productions for tapping in and tuning in to all live and replay content, holistic, conscious, for your empowerment. Tap in to the Christ light within. Please like, share, and subscribe. And remember that you are the one that you have been looking for. Enjoy this content. If you would like to collaborate or receive production through myself, Marcus Crystallite, direct message or email me at marcustut23@gmail.com to discuss details. Wholeness and balanced love. Ashe.